Hey, good evening, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Against the Public for June 10th. I'm Dana Lane. Thanks for joining me. Today, we're going to go through my top 3 Major League Baseball plays for Monday, and then we'll wrap it up with a report on this season's money lines for the purpose of identifying if there's a sweet spot that we can kind of latch onto that's been cashing tickets on a regular basis. Also, if there's a bitter spot that we need to stay away from, at least for now. After the show, please go to Pickdawgz.com. I'll have my top 3 premium Major League Baseball plays loaded up for Monday. And of course, I'll have side and total in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Jump on my single plays or tomorrow's Major League Baseball 3-pack for $49.99. And of course, those single plays and the 3-pack always comes with their Pickdawgz win guarantee. You must profit or receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price. In addition, there's only one way to get every single play that I release, and that's to become an all-access member. And you can do that over the next 30 days for less than $11 a day, the next 90 days for less than $10 a day, or better yet, guys, let's roll the sleeves up. Let's go to work over the next 365 days. Become an all-access member for just $3.56 a day. It's the best offer I have up on the board. Takes you right through football season, college and pro football, through college basketball, the NHL next year, the NBA next year. Let's get to work. 2024 is going to be a fantastic year, and we're going to roll that right into 2025. And customers in the NBA will break it down. 57% winners over the last 30 days. Every play is monitored and put up on Pickdawgz for better or worse. Sometimes it's for worse, but most of the time it's for better. 57% NBA winners over the last 30 days. And in the National Hockey League, after another sweep of Game 1, 67% NHL winners over the last 30 days. That's number 1 amongst all cappers with at least 24 plays. And 55% NHL winners over the last 90 days. So that's the consistency you deserve, and I appreciate everybody that's put their money behind me and their trust behind me. And it's been a pretty good 2024, especially in the NHL and the NBA, especially in the NHL of late too. The playoffs have been amazing. Anyway, let's get to your free plays for Monday, and remember, these are probable pitchers. It is a long time before first pitch, so make sure you get up in the morning and just reestablish that those are the pitchers that will be throwing, because it is important, obviously, to make sure who's going to get the ball to open a game. All right, we'll start things off 6:50 Eastern Time, 9:01, 9:02. Baltimore Orioles against the Tampa Bay Rays. Baltimore minus $1.55 looks like consensus. 7.5 under minus 19. Corbin Burnes against Ryan Pepio. 3-time All-Star, 2021 Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burnes is certainly at it again. Putting together another incredible season. 6-2 this year, 2.26 ERA, fantastic. Corbin has allowed 8 straight starts, or Corbin has 8 straight starts with at least 6 innings pitched. Minnesota's 9-4 when Corbin gets the ball, and you could argue that Burnes is probably on his way to his best season of his career. His line drive percentage, if you kind of geek out for a second, his line drive percentage is 20.3%, and his ground ball rate is 49.3%. That is both numbers are the best of his career. That 20.3 that ties, but that 49.3 ground ball percentage is terrific. Pepio struggled in his first inning against the Miami Marlins, and then he settled down in his last start, and then he settled down to allow just 1 hit the rest of the way until giving way to Justin Sterner in the 7th. Normally, when I see a 7.5, normally I'd like to go over that total, but I won't be doing that here. I have a great deal of belief in both of these starters. We're going to go under 7.5 minus 19. 8:10 Eastern Time, 9:03, 9:04. New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals. New York Yankees minus $1.35, 8.5 under minus 13. Carlos Rodon against Seth Lugo. Yankees are finally getting the pitcher that they paid for with Rodon. 8 earned runs in his last 30 innings. That equates to a 2.40 ERA, which is fantastic. The Yankees have won 6 straight games when the former NC State Wolfpack star gets the ball, and 10 of 13 overall this season. What's better for our play in this one is that the Yankees have given Rodon plenty of run production. They average 6.5 runs a game when he gets the start, and they've averaged 8 runs a game over his last 4 starts. No one's going to doubt how good Seth Lugo is. His numbers are terrific this season, 9-1, a 2.13 ERA, but he is coming off of his worst start of the season. He allowed 5 earned runs and 6 hits, 6 innings, allowed 2 home runs, and with this start, and then his last start, and then this start, and then his next one against the Los Angeles Dodgers, at least that's how it plays out, we should get a real good feel for how good Seth Lugo is, and I'm very interested to see where he is on the other side of these 3 games. We already know one of those games not so good. We'll see how he does tomorrow. For the record, that the Royals have lost 3 other times with Lugo starting when he received a no decision. I am going to go over the 8.5 in this game. I think the Yankees bats are going to come alive after a big series against the Dodgers, but certainly a series until we got to that 3rd game where the offense was dormant, and I think that they explode in this one. So I'm going over 8.5 minus $1.07. And game number 3, 9:45 Eastern Time, 9:13, 9:14, Houston Astros minus $1.20, 8 over minus 11 against the San Francisco Giants. Spencer Arrighetti against Kyle Harrison. Arrighetti, we know he's certainly struggling. 3-5 record, 5.79 ERA. He's coming off of one of his best outings of the season, probably his best outing against the Seattle Mariners. He took a line drive off the calf. Everybody says he's okay to go. Everybody says he's 100%. From what I can tell, there's not going to be any limitation with pitch count or specific innings he's going to throw. But the problem is if he's anything less than 100%, even if he's 90%, I mean, that is, for a right-hander, that is your landing foot. And that, to me, throws up some red flags. The Giants have lost 7 of their last 10 games. They've allowed 5.1 runs per game, and the Giants bullpen is ranked 21st in baseball. Houston's given up 27 home runs. Their bullpen's given up 27 home runs. That's 9th most in baseball. So we have 2 teams with bullpens, and I don't know if I can lean on very, very much, but getting back to Harrison's ERA is 5.89 over his last 5 starts. And he is likely going to give us 5 innings, maybe 6 if he's incredibly efficient, but mostly 5 innings. If you look at his recent form, he's a 5-inning guy, and then they're going to hand it over to a really unreliable Giants bullpen. I'm going to go over 8 minus $1.11. 8 to me, I thought that this total was going to be 8.5. And sometimes you look at a number and you think, I think they're leading me down a path. I look at this number and I just think it's a wrong number. So I'm going to go 8 over the 8 minus $1.11 as your third free pick. Okay. So before we close out the show, this is interesting, and I won't take a lot of time with this, but this is your handicapping tip for Monday. Today I'm going to focus on finding a betting sweet spot according to this year's numbers and the 3-year number too, which is kind of interesting. Now, in 2024, favorites have won 57.1% of the games. But that, of course, we know is nowhere near good enough to turn a profit. Minus 50.54 units based upon a 1-unit wager, and underdogs minus 12.20. So this is the problem with baseball. You can't just... and when you don't have point spread, I almost wish there was point spreads in baseball, so we could just have, $1.10 every game. But the problem comes if you like to bet numbers, and so with favorites, it is so much more of managing your bankroll rather than picking a winner. Which when you're talking about point spreads, NBA, college basketball, all that stuff, then you can focus more on picking winners and less about managing your bankroll. Although units wagered is different than getting involved in a game that could cost you $1.80. You don't want to get involved in those games. So if you like to bet the numbers, let's find the sweet spots in 2024. And the sweet spot this year, and they're hard to find, but if you bet favorites between minus $1.10 and minus $1.20, you'd be 117 and 96, 55% winners, plus 5.77 units. That gives you an idea of how difficult it is to actually beat this sport over a long period of time. Now, the flip side of that, and I know a lot of people say, well, you find underdogs, that's fine. Okay, okay, well, here's the caveat to that. The flip side of that is most underdogs are going to fall. The underdogs that people are looking at, they're going to fall between plus 130, maybe and 160, something like that, maybe minus plus $1.20. But if you bet underdogs plus $1.30 to $1.60 this year, you would have won only 37% of your wagers. That's not great, obviously. You would be down 35.73 units. So that really, it takes those guys that say, I'm going to go and find underdogs, or I'm going to go and I'm going to find small favorites, which $1.10 to $1.20 is a small favorite, but it doesn't return that much. That's what makes that's what makes betting baseball so hard and so difficult. And not only do you have to deal with money lines, but you got to deal with them for a long period of time. We're doing this from the 28th of March all the way through the World Series. So this is the epitome of trying to manage your bankroll. Let's take a look at the numbers over the last 3 years. This is the sweet spot over the last 3 years. $1.60 plus $1.60 to $1.80 is the long-term sweet spot, plus 38.47 units. Now, here's the problem with that. Yes, you would be ahead if you just followed this rule, but the problem is your win percentage would just be 40%. In fact, it's under 40%. So baseball tests you in so many different ways, because not only are you having to manage your bankroll, but if you're looking for plus $1.60 to $1.80, you are going to lose a lot. You've got to be able to handle those losses. You're going to lose 60% of the time. You got to be able to handle those losses, knowing that the long-term gain is going to be greater. But it is difficult, and that's what makes this sport very tough to beat on a daily basis. And as far as a bitter spot over the last 3 years, believe it or not, it's minus $1.06 to a minus $1.10. 6 games under 500, minus 25.11 units. So it's interesting. And then what's interesting about that is if we flip it to what I just said, where we looked at minus $1.10 to $1.20, perhaps watch those numbers, because plus 5.77 units is not that high. And I think as the season goes on, I think that's gonna flip as well. So again, I try to go in here and I try to find things that say, wow, that's really a trend to hang on to. But man, the only thing that we can really hang on to, if we're looking for numbers to bet, not, a lot of guys, they like to bet on numbers and not just the teams. They will bet on numbers. They don't even care who's playing. If you're looking at underdogs plus $1.60 to plus $1.80, that is the sweet spot. But you've got to ask yourself, am I strong enough to lose 60% of those games and see that bankroll going before I go on a run? Because believe me, in this sport, your mind starts playing tricks on you. You have to be strong every single day. So that's your my tip. My tip to you is very, very simple. My tip is to try to find that spot where you get the better of the two teams, somewhere around $1.15, $1.20, $1.30. Pick your spots. Pick your spots based upon starting pitching, bullpen, even middle relief is something that I've been taking into account. And I think that bounces around depending on the team that you're talking about. Like if we're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates, is middle relief all that important? Yes, that's very important, because starters for the longest time up until recently until Paul Skeens got there, you would get right into that middle relief pretty quick, especially if Mitch Keller wasn't pitching well. So yeah, I think that kind of goes by team, and you got to make those calls. But guys, this is a difficult sport, and you have to 2 or 3 plays a day. It is a long game. You've got to make sure that you have a big enough bankroll to be able to withstand the losses, and then you got to be in it every single day. You can't take 3 or 4 days off. This is a sport you need to be in every single day. That's what to me. When I first got into town, I know I'll stop, but when I first got into town, and I used to just sit in the sports book, and this was 32 years ago, and I used to hear these older guys at the old Las Vegas club talk about, always betting Roger Clemens no matter what. And I used to think, well, that seems easy. Why don't I just do that? Well, it's because they're not telling you about when Clemens as a $3 favorite loses at the time. You got to win 4 games just to make a profit. They weren't talking about managing money, and baseball is all about managing money. It is, to me, the most difficult sport to bet, and it has been for a very long time. I'm very happy being able to finally get to a point where I can my bankroll can be stable. I have a stable way of doing things, but it took a long time to get there. And that's the constant game that baseball bettors have to play. So anyway, football's coming. We're less than 2 months away. I'll close this off. Of course, if there's anything you'd like for me to research, I have all kinds of numbers. Please let me know on the YouTube channel, and I'll be more than happy to research that. That does it for your Monday free plays and tip. Please go to pickdawgz.com. Get involved with one of my many available packages. Did really good in Major League Baseball yesterday. The premium plays came through. So very, very happy about that. Or I'm sorry, check that. The free plays came through yesterday. So make sure you jump on these free plays. Let's go through each one that that we went through, which seems like a long time ago. Baltimore, Tampa Bay under 7.5 -19. Yankees, Kansas City over 8.5 -1.07. And Houston and San Francisco over 8 -1.11. That does it for today's show. Thank you to everyone who continues to watch on a daily basis. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I love getting over that 2,000 mark every day. I appreciate that. Over 100 likes. I mean, guys, if you watch the video, just hit the like button. I don't know. I guess it does something for me. But I do appreciate everybody that has so far, and I appreciate all the comments. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. All the best to you and your wagers on Monday.